They called her the most happy. Anne Boleyn, the woman who changed a kingdom, a church, and a king's heart. She was the second wife of Henry VIII and the first woman in England to die for love that dared to defy a throne. But behind her crown was a woman, a heart that only wanted to be loved and believed she finally was. She wasn't born a queen. She was born a dreamer. Raised in the elegant courts of Europe, Anne learned the language of charm. Not the kind that flattered, but the kind that made you listen. When she returned to England, she wasn't just another lady in waiting. She was a spark in a world ruled by silence. And when King Henry VIII met her, everything changed. Anne wasn't like the others. She didn't fall to her knees for a crown or for favor. She said no. And in that no, Henry heard a challenge. He wrote her letters, love letters that burned with obsession. He promised her the world, promised her a throne, promised her that their love was blessed by heaven itself. For 7 years she waited. 7 years of whispers, judgment, and exile. But she held on, believing that love, true love, was worth the fight. In 1533, her dream came true. Anne became Queen of England. Her motto, sewn into gold thread, read, "The most happy." And for a short while, she truly was. Crowds cheered, music played, and in her heart there was hope. Hope that her love had meaning. Hope that she would give Henry the son he longed for. But fate had a different plan. Anne gave birth, not to a son, but to a daughter, Elizabeth. And the cheers faded. The court turned cold. The king who once moved heaven and earth to have her began to look away. Anne's laughter was now called pride. Her courage became arrogance, and her sharp tongue, once admired, became her doom. By 1536, the same man who had written love letters with trembling hands signed her death warrant without a tear. They said she had been unfaithful. They said she had bewitched him. But the truth? She was guilty only of being too strong, too different, too alive in a world where women were meant to obey. On the day of her execution, Anne wore a gown of gray and crimson. She looked at the crowd, at the faces that once bowed before her, and said softly, "I pray God save the king, for he is a good and gentle master." There was no bitterness, no hatred, only grace. And as she knelt before the sword, the wind carried her last prayer into eternity. And when the blade fell, a legend was born. Anne's daughter, Elizabeth, would grow to become one of the greatest rulers in history, the Virgin Queen, the light of England. The world that condemned Anne would one day bow to her child. And in that moment, Anne's spirit smiled, because the love that was meant to destroy her had instead given birth to immortality. They called her the most happy. But happiness for Anne Boleyn wasn't found in jewels or crowns. It was found in courage, in standing tall when the world tried to break her. She may have lost her life, but she won something far greater, a place in history and in the hearts of those who still whisper her name. Are you the most happy, Anne? Perhaps not in life, but in memory, forever.